Quiet on set!
And action.
James Cameron takes us back to Pandora in 3D, high frame rate in a 3-hour plus epic that might just be a rehash of Way of Water.
I have finally seen Train Dreams. I bumped my mic, so at least we can talk about it. We got other movies to spotlight, such as what if Mad Max took place a year after World War II in Finland and he killed Nazis in all sorts of crazy ways? Yeah, I'm talking about Sisu, Road to Revenge.
That sounds like fun. We also got the Oscar shortlists. They are coming in hot. What got snubbed and what made it in. I watched the final few films that were shortlisted for the international feature, as well as Song Sung Blue, and Obama shared his most liked movies of the year, I guess. So we got a very stacked episode coming up. Like, subscribe, and comment. Will actually give you a bit of time to do that, and we'll play the intro again.
God damn it.
There you go. Isn't that a beautiful intro? Welcome back, Kevin. Welcome back to the Quiet on Set podcast. I'm Ewan, and this is Kevin. And yeah, we got a stacked episode coming up. Usually we were like, hey, we only covered a few bits of news that interest us, and my God, this week we have so much stuff that I didn't even mention in the intro, like the 5-minute prologue that is playing ahead of Avatar, Fire and Ash, that neither of us unfortunately got to see, the lackluster response to the MCU sort of plan for dropping. We'll get into that, but I think, again, for the first thing today, let's take a look at the 12 categories that got announced so far for the Oscars, the shortlists. 3 of those include like the shorts, animated, documentary, and live action, I believe. That's less of an interest and less of a concern to us to actually take a closer look at, because we haven't seen most, if any, of them. But there are some other categories that are interesting to look at. And we'll just go through alphabetically of what was announced. And later on, we'll also discuss what this means, like the Oscar streaming on YouTube in 2029 and if we like it or not. So stick around for that. But first up, Kevin, in casting, what is making the shortlist?
The shortlist in casting contains Frankenstein, Hamlet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Sirat, Weapons, Wicked for Good. The snubs here are Wake Up Dead Man and Weapons.
Agreed. I mean, you put down Wake Up Dead Man, I put down Weapons. This is also the category of stuff that, like, the most of it that you haven't seen, I feel like. You know, Marty Supreme, Secret Agent, Hamlet, you haven't gotten to see these films yet.
No.
Unfortunately, you had to see Wicked for Good already. But to me, it doesn't make sense that Wicked for Good is in here, because they also cast Michelle Yeoh in that part, and it's just like, that is just not good casting all around. I mean, the rest I feel like is fine, but yeah. Surprises, we'll see in a lot of like the short lists. Surat is kind of making a search, and you see a lot of like international features get onto these short lists that usually, you know, they get the international feature and then really nothing else, if anything.
I don't agree. I think the Academy has changed on that front, especially since Parasite. I know we keep talking about Parasite, but yeah, I do think that change that has
maybe for the short list at least. I mean, in the final 5, I feel like didn't
maybe for that.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll end up winning anything, but it's nice to see like something, like, because I the excitement in Gun with a lot of people coming out of Sirat, like, it was really there, not really up for me, but a lot of people were like raving about that film. No pun intended.
I will catch Sirat before we do a certain recap of the year, so
which is coming up soon, so you don't have a lot of time left, because
no.
But yeah,
I got a binge.
Then one of our, personal favorites of stuff that we like to pay attention to on this podcast with you and I, but also Lachlan really loves cinematography. What are the nominees, like the shortlist nominees here?
Shortlist nominees are Ballad of a Small Player, Begonia, Die My Love, F1, Frankenstein, Hamlet, Marty Supreme, Nouvelle Vague, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Sirat, Songs Blue, Sound of Falling, Train Dreams, and Wicked for Good. Actually,
Lots
you
of
know what?
S's.
Let's just pick our 5. Like, what would we prefer?
Oh
I
yeah,
think
we
that's
didn't say
more
that
fun.
with casting. Yeah, because it's a new category, so it's hard to do. But we'll do it with cinematography going forward.
I would take. You know what? Let me quickly take a look.
Well, we also would love
for
to have
sure-
No Other Choice and Wake Up Dead Man in here.
Same.
And for that, I would definitely kick out Song Sung Blue and Wicked for Good.
Yeah, same.
Those are the easy ones.
No, what? My 5. I would take Wake Up Dead Man, but I'm just gonna look at the actual
What actually
nominees.
is there, yeah.
So I would take. I think One
This is
Battle
tough.
After Another must get in.
Mhm.
Sinners is also pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Train Dreams, 100%.
Is he-
Sound of
me
Falling,
too,
I
yeah.
do not give a damn about. It's a European version Suicide that is 150 minutes long.
But it is well shot.
It's well shot, but
It is
I
well shot.
will not like that movie. I haven't seen Sirat, so know what? F1, cinematography in F1 is kind of mind blowing, and the way they go about the footage, pulling from the actual F1 footage and the things they shot themselves.
Mhm.
For cinematography, I can totally give it to F1. Frankenstein, honestly, that might be it. You know,
That might be it for you. I would I might even kick out Frankenstein if I'm being honest.
Ain't no way, bro.
I prefer Sentimental Value a lot because I know the space of that house is so important for that movie, and it's the like very non-flashy type of cinematography that uses like a ton of like staged natural lighting and all that. And I
Wow.
think
I totally thought you would kick out F1 instead of Frankenstein.
F1 as well, because I'm also kicking that out and pick Hamnet,
Oh.
because I think Hamnet is also incredibly well shot. I'm struggling. I think my number 5 spot would be either be Hamnet or Frankenstein, or maybe Train Dreams even. But Train Dreams is also such time. We'll talk about it a bit later on, but
Yeah.
it's like a timeless thing to it. That's a good category. But the next one coming up, documentary feature film, is the one where we're obviously missing most of the films that are in here because we don't really cover them as much. We've covered a few of them.
I think the last few
in
years
Venice.
we've done actually pretty good in terms of documentaries.
Oh yeah. Overall, but it's like definitely the category where we are cumulatively between
Yeah.
the two of us, we're missing the most. But what is on the short list here? Because there's some surprising films on here.
The Alabama Solution, Apocalypse in the Tropics, Coexistence, My Ass, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cover Up, Cutting Through Rocks, Folktales, Holding Light, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, Mr. Dispeller, My Undesirable Friends Part 1, Lost Air in Moscow, The Perfect Neighbor, Seeds, 2000 Meters to Andrivka, Januni, and that's it. The snubs here that you and I have written down, actually just you. Predators, Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk, Orwell 2 + 2 = 5, and Remake comes out next year, so
Yeah,
I guess
like I would put
that
Ghost
doesn't
Elephants on
qualify.
here as well from Van Herzog, but that hasn't released outside of festivals. So it's the same with something like Mistress Dispeller, which we caught at Venice
Last
in
year.
2024. And I'm actually so surprised that it's on this list. I'm so surprised. Like, why is it on this list? I mean, I like the movie. You liked it more than I did, but I'm surprised it's on here over
Well,
some
no,
other stuff.
like, look, it's been more like 1 year and a half since we've seen it. I still remember some scenes of that documentary.
It's very
and
memorable.
you and I know
It's very
which
memorable.
one we're talking about.
But honestly, you going over it. I mean, I've seen. I got a screener for Coexistence, My Ass, and most of these, if not all of them, are like somewhat available. We've both seen Cover Up, Come See Me, and The Good Light is on Apple TV Plus. Cutting Through Rocks is available. Alabama Solution and Apocalypse in the Tropics are both available as well. Folktales we talked about like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Holding Liat, I haven't. I don't know where that is. Would be available. I've seen Mr. Nobody Against Putin. We've both seen Mistress Dispeller. The actual one that I couldn't find was My Undesirable Friends Part 1. That's like really. Isn't it like a 5-6 hour long documentary or something like that. It's a really long
then
one.
it's definitely not getting in.
Then The Perfect Neighbor, which came out at Sundance and has now been on Netflix since then. I've seen since Seeds and 2,000 Meters to Andrivka. I was actually in a screening where the director was there for like a 40-minute long Q&A. It was incredibly interesting to hear him speak about it. And I haven't seen Yanuni. I'm just so surprised that Orwell 2 + 2 = 5, which I haven't seen yet, and Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk didn't get in because some like prediction services like Gold Derby and Awards Expert, they both had it. I believe at least Awards Expert had it listed. But I'm happy that Cover Up is in here. I like that movie quite a bit. So
let's just take our picks. Cover Up. Honestly, I really like Folk Tales. I don't think it will get in though, but that's my pick.
With you.
Honestly, Perfect Neighbor will get in because that's very important. And let's be honest, 2,000 Meters to Andrivka. I forgot the filmmaker's previous documentary, Mariupol.
Yeah, 20 Days in Mariupol.
Yeah,
that won the documentary award that year. 2,000 Meters in Andrivka is a very like different movie because it's not about holding out and surviving. It's about like persisting a sort of seemingly aimless goal of just capturing a town that will inevitably get caught back, and the lives being lost in that fight, and what it stands for in the larger conflict, and like the pointlessness of war, obviously. But
so we got 4. We need one more pick.
Let's just give Mistress to Speller, I guess, because we've both seen it. You know, the other stuff I could nominate some stuff that I've seen, but yeah, I'm also still missing a bunch, and I think Seeds was kind of okay-ish. I didn't think that it was like a great documentary.
Next up, we got International Feature Film.
Big category.
I will say the nomination. Big category. Argentina, Belén, Brazil, The Secret Agent, France, It Was Just an Accident, Germany, Sound of Falling, India, Homebound, Iraq, The President's Cake, Japan, Kokuho, Jordan, All That's Left of You, Norway, Sentimental Value, Palestine, Palestine 36, South Korea, No Other Choice, Spain, Sirat, Switzerland, Late Shift, Taiwan, Left-Handed Girl, Tunisia, The Voice of Rajab. The snubs that we've mentioned here are The Love That Remains, 2,000 Meters to Andrivka, Kali Malaga, The Useful Ghost, Magellan, Orphan, Stranger Eyes, Hijra, A Father, A Poet, and My Father's Shadow, which a lot of people liked. Ewan really didn't, but it got a lot of mentions.
I didn't love it. List. I think it was a good movie, but like a lot of people have it in their favorite list.
Ewan, you can cheer the most for Late Shift getting in.
Yeah, boy, it's not happening, but I was so happy earlier in the year because I got to talk to the director. You can find an interview with Petra Volpe on the channel. It's in English as well. I was so happy that like finally Switzerland has a chance at getting in, and you look at it and we get 5 nominees for international feature. And I look at this list of 15 and I think it might be better than the Oscar list. There's so many great movies in here, man. It's kind of a pity.
Because I'm looking at the snubs. The Love That Remains, we both love that movie. Iceland did not get in. A bit of a surprise that 2,000 Meters to Andrivka didn't get in, considering documentaries often get 2 nominees, both in documentary and international. Honeyland comes on the top of my mind. And then we got, a few others that might have gotten in other years. Magellan, Love Diaz, apparently a visual spectacle, but doesn't get in, presumably because the category is just so stacked. And then you got a few others that probably just didn't ruffle a lot of feathers. Stranger Eyes, I really liked. Father, etc.
I was kind of surprised looking at Letterboxd how low some of these averages are. Orphan, like a lot of people just didn't connect with it. Same with Stranger Eyes, Hijra, Father, A Poet as well. Yeah, I feel like the most like widely accessible film, like that isn't just somewhat of a bit of working for sort of an Oscar audience would be Kale Malaga, because it's such a heartwarming movie at the center of it all. So I'm a bit surprised that got in. But I think with Argentina, with Belén, there was a huge campaign by Amazon to like send out screeners to everyone. So that's the one that I'm like, I watched all of these. I just finished before this recording the Kokuho, the 3 hour long Japanese submission that has been making waves as like biggest live action highest grossing box office movie of all time there locally. There's a couple of films that swap out. Like I didn't love Homebound, like the Indian film Belén. I would kick out. Sound of Falling, I feel like it deserves to be on this short list, even though we both didn't really like it that much. And then the rest of it is just really solid. Like I struggle to find anything like I definitely like swap The Love That Remains with Belén, and then probably have Kale Malaga over 2,000 meters of Andrivka, but then it gets difficult. But
let's do our 5.
I can't, man. I'm stalling. I don't know. Sentimental value.
I'll do my 5.
Okay.
I'll do my 5.
Okay, you do your 5.
No other choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorites of this year. It was just an accident. I do think it deserves to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably do The Voice of Infrajob. And then we got 2 more, Left-Handed Girl, and I'll do Sentimental Value, even though I would put in Late Shift, because I actually prefer Late Shift over Sentimental Value, but, And that's quite a conflicting thing for me to say, because now, like, you are like, yeah, but the Sentimental Value is better, but I like Late Shift too.
I mean, I basically have the same list. I also put Left-Handed Girl in, The Voice of Hindrajab, no other choice, and Sentimental Value would be my favorite to win this category. I would probably take out the one that's likely going to win this whole deal with It Was Just an Accident. Like, I didn't connect with it that much. And I honestly... It's hard to say because there might be better movies in here, but I mean, I'm Swiss, man. I can't. I gotta pick Late Shift as well. It's also really solid. It's a great film. Like, I'm not just picking it for that. And looking at the rest of the lineup, I think it just has as an important message as the rest of these movies have to tell. It's really something urgent as well, but it's also told well. It's acted well. It's written well. Just a great movie
and
all
like
around.
They've come out quite a few like nurse and hospital movies this year.
Yeah.
Like you got Second Victims, you got L'Entrée d'Adam. Almost forgot it. So we got a few, but Late Shift comes out on top. A few of those. I am leaving out Sirat and The Secret Agent, but I haven't seen both of those yet.
If we
so
make
maybe
predictions, I feel like Left-Handed Girl, Late Shift, and probably No Other Choice are not getting in.
Wait, do you think No Other Choice wouldn't get in?
I think our nominees for the actual Oscars are going to be It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, The Voice of Indra Jab, The Secret Agent, and what did I miss? Sirat.
I think No Other Choice get in.
I think with because on the shortlist you don't see No Other Choice in a lot of categories. You will see Sirat in a lot of them.
Let's see if Sirat in the next one. Oh, it isn't, because it's makeup and hairstyling. We got The Alto Knights, we got Frankenstein, Kokuho, Marty Supreme, Nuremberg, One Battle After Another, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, The Ugly Stepsister, and Wicked for Good. The snub here is Weapons, with Amy Madigan obviously playing Aunt Gladys and not getting in. I don't really have that much to say about this category, but also it isn't always like 5 movies that get nominated in this category. Like normally it's like 3, maybe 4.
What do you mean?
It isn't exactly 5.
Oh, and Makeup no, it's all of them is 5. It's always 5.
Oh, always?
Yeah, it's always 5.
Well, bro, I don't know what to say about this category.
But it's like none of them really leave much of an impact. Sometimes they're kind of adjacent to an acting nomination. Like if Jacob Elordi was nominated for Best Supporting,
Sean Penn,
is he in lead or in supporting? Jacob Elordi.
He's in supporting.
Yeah, because it's I don't know. He's kind of a lead, but then Frankenstein in here, which obviously I feel like Frankenstein should get nominated for that.
Frankenstein, definitely. One Battle After Another with the whole Sean Penn and his, smashed up face. At the end.
Sinners, I'd put in there as well. Not The Smashing Machine. I feel like The Ugly Stepsister is such a great pick. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not seen. Wait, which one?
The Ugly Stepsister.
Oh, I haven't seen it. No, but I actually, I haven't seen it, but I also have seen it because I've put it in the horror montage. That kind of thing. But I did see great things in the Ugly Stepsister. But I think Wicked for Good will get in.
We should get Wicked for Good for the Scarecrow because it was so good when they did it,
man.
and then just did it digitally in a horrible way. I just finished Kokuho, and I mean that one's got like a lot of like period piece stuff that's good.
I mean that shit always tends to get in though.
Honestly, let's just go with our free picks, which Sinners, One Battle After Another, and Frankenstein. I really don't care about the rest of them. We'll just like leave 2 slots open, all right? we put weapons in there, I guess.
Next up, we got Music Original Score. Nominated for this category is Avatar: Fire and Ash, Begonia, Captain America: Brave New World, Diane Warren: Relentless, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Hedda, A House of Dynamite, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Nuremberg, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sirat, Train Dreams, Tron, Ares, Truth and Treason, Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery shows up, and we got Wicked for Good. We don't really have any notable snubs for this. Yeah,
there's just so many in here that like you'll see the snubs maybe if you have an opinion later on. To me, was that like to you a huge standout of a score this year?
Of course.
Yeah.
Diane Warren, Relentless. Are you kidding me, dude?
No. You can't. No. Look one above. Captain America: Brave New World had the score of the year. Okay.
You know what? In terms of original score, let's be honest, it's Sinners.
Yeah. There gets mixed so much.
I've rinsed out that soundtrack.
Yeah.
I've rinsed out that soundtrack.
I think
on Spotify.
Sirat as well deserves to be in here. I think the 9 Inch Nail ones, which you haven't seen for Tron Ares, is like, it's 9 Inch Nails.
One Battle After Another. I would also
a Battle After Another. Yeah. That one too. Yeah. And then I think like it's really fun to just hear about how they went about making the Begonia score when he just gave him like 5 words and a vibe and nothing about like the movie, right? He just like they made this, I believe, the score beforehand and then just like made that fit. To like I feel like it's we were a bit lower on Begonia, but I think him just doing whatever. I'm good with Yorgos taking a bit of a break after this one, but
are you sure you don't want to pick Captain America: Brave New World? Are you sure?
No, I'll go with F1. No, I don't know. There's not a lot of like stuff that
I wouldn't mind Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Me neither. I think it's a good score. It's a solid score. Yeah. I like the one in Wake Up Dead Man too.
Not in Hamnet, because I haven't seen Hamnet. So
I keep thinking about Hamnet, and there's like a bunch of like the one central scene that's like really big is like one. It's a soundtrack thing. It's not a score thing. Yeah. So that leaves the biggest impact. So I'm struggling to find like how much I was resonating with the score of Hamnet.
Okay, but also jokes aside, is Diane Warren gonna get nominated for? You know the Oscars love her apparently
for the original score. I mean, she did. And it would be very funny because she didn't do the score for this one. So it would be very funny if she gets nominated, but not she.
I just feel like it's a bit like they are nominated Diane Warren every year just to make her lose. I think it's a bit at this point.
Anyway, just keep it going because I think she's also
original song. Let's go original song.
Nominated there.
As Alive as You Need Me to Be from Ton Ares, Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless, Dream as One from Avatar: Fire and Ash, Drive from F1, Dying to Live from Billy Idol Should Be Dead, The Girl in the Bubble from Wicked for Good, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, Highest to Lowest from Highest to Lowest. The last time I seen the sun from Sinners, I Lied to You from Sinners, No Place Like Home from Wicked for Good, Our Love from The Ballad of Wallace Island, Salt Then Sour Then Sweet from Come See Me in the Good Light, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't really have much to say about this category, but I'll Lie to You, Sinners
this
deserve
is
the win
just
for
a
me.
category so people can get their EGOT. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like I don't particularly care about this. If anything other than Golden wins for the impact that it's had, it would be crazy, but I feel like the best song in here is I Lied to You, easily, right?
Same.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's just move on.
What's the chance? What's the chance that Sinners gets 2 songs nominated and Wicked for Good. I mean, that'd be crazy.
Well,
That's
if both of
possible.
them get 2 in, and then
Yeah.
Well, I think some people were surprised that only one song from K-pop Demon Hunters got like shortlisted here.
Oh, right.
But it does make sense that they have everything in for the one thing.
So imagine 5 nominated songs, all K-pop Demon Hunters.
No, they make an exception and have a 6th slot, and just so Diane Warren can get nominated for Dear Me. She can't miss.
Anyway, next up we got sound. We got 2 more categories, guys. Sound, Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sirat, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, Superman, and Wicked for Good. Ewan wrote down the snubs, Marty Supreme, and No Other Choice.
I wasn't really thinking about like, I feel like the editing is great in No Other Choice, and we don't get a list for editing, and I think part of that is also sound in a way. Although it's I don't know what the fuck this category is, because it's also the sound recording, it's also the sound mixing.
Yeah,
they combined this category
a few years. Yeah,
and it's just like sound good movie nominate. And I don't think like Sinners should be in here. I think Sirat is like a pleasant surprise. Again, kick out Superman, Wicked for Good. F1, it's big, loud cars, so I wouldn't be surprised if that gets nominated.
But no. But again, the detail in the F1 sound design is like truly like every car.
No, it's great.
Has an individual sound. So it's
but I mean,
F1.
just like for the precedent of like what gets nominated, it's usually also sometimes it's that like a lot of editing, a lot of sound also gets you nominated here. But I think here coincidentally, F1 also has great sound design and sound recording. I don't know what this category.
I mean, mostly it's the blockbusters. Honestly, for me, literally the first 5 like deserve it. Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, One Battle After Another. You can throw in Sirat again. I haven't seen it, but I mean, just those first 5 for me would.
Sinners as well. I don't know.
But again, for me, Sinners score, sound. That's.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to separate from each other.
Exactly, and I feel like the ones voting on all of this is like, can they separate it better than we can? All right, final category.
Next up, final category, visual effects.
That's the fire.
Can we wrap this up and go home?
It's the Fire and Ash.
Can we wrap this up and go home? Yeah, exactly. Avatar, Fire and Ash, The Electric State, F1, Frankenstein, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, Sinners, Superman, Tron Ares, and Wicked for Good.
This is a really underwhelming category.
I haven't seen Tron Ares, but from what I know of it, the only saving grace of it is the visual effects and the visual spectacle.
Yes,
so I guess Tron Ares gets in, Avatar, Fire and Ash gets in. If the Electric State gets in, I will, I don't know, do something.
We'll be buzzing. It's like... He'll be in an electric state.
Honestly, I don't really know which.
I think F1 should get in here. Maybe like seeing the behind the scenes stuff that they did, shooting at the actual races,
every car
and then
again.
It's mad impressive. It's a sort of like hidden VFX because you're never supposed to question it. And
invisible effects.
During the watch time, I wasn't really thinking, oh, they're shooting at this Rio race and there's Rio constraints to them filming. I really wasn't pulled out of it, and that alone is just so impressive. I think Frankenstein also
let's
has
quickly
really
go over
solid
it. Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Tron Ares, maybe Superman.
Wait, what do we have? Fire and Ash, F1.
Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1. I would put in Tron Ares. Honestly, from what I've seen,
Tron Ares.
Yeah.
Superman, and then I'd go with Frankenstein over Sinners actually.
Because like, Jurassic World has kind of lost its magic a bit in terms of visuals, like because we've gotten so many, we know how good they are at it. So I don't know if it gets nominated again.
Yeah, wasn't there like a thing that like DC movies never get nominated, or was it the MCU ones that never got nominated for visual effects?
MCU mostly gets always nominated,
and the DC ones didn't get nominated, right?
I guess so.
But that's all the.
Actually, now you remind me, there's no Fantastic Four here.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that?
No Thunderbolts. I mean,
it's just it's one shot, but like a couple of shots. But
all right, that's the 12 categories done.
That's the Oscar shortlists. And I feel like the big categories, like how usually the Oscars get seen for the performances, for editing, for Best Picture, for all of that. It's crazy that they loop in international feature in here as well. Like for me to like make the cutoff so much of like root it down to 15 already. I guess it makes sense because people will watch even less, and maybe it would be easily more manipulated into what gets nominated if someone just sends a whole bunch of screeners to someone. So I guess it's a good thing. But Oscars.
Hey, no, wait. We need to talk about one more thing. The fact that the Oscars are gonna be streamed on YouTube.
Yes, they are. I recently had someone
2029.
say that I'm not entirely sure. Will it be free or will it be on YouTube TV, YouTube Live, like some sort of extra thing that you had to pay for, or will it be just like freely available for everyone?
Look, as long as I don't get any Verizon ads, because I used to watch through like the streams of ABC or something, and the amount of Verizon ads one year drove me insane. So
the issue here was always I could only find a localized one that was dubbing it live in German, and I was like, I wanted to kill myself, man. It was so bad. And then recently with ABC and Disney, they had a version where you could watch it, I believe, on Disney Plus.
oh really?
I think so. I blocked it out, man.
But it is kind of interesting how these award shows are getting on other platforms. You know, you got SAG-AFTRA or like the SAG Awards, I think.
The Actors
now,
Awards.
The Actors Awards, yeah.
Yeah.
They're on Netflix. You know, the Oscars going to YouTube, and I think it's a good thing because holding on to the linear television, I mean, their decline in viewerships has already been a thing every year, and now being on YouTube, everybody can watch it. Perhaps I hope so, because I don't know if it's just like locally or worldwide.
Yeah. It's just a couple of things that weren't usually broadcasted will be broadcasted on YouTube, like the luncheon or the governor. I don't know.
The governor's ball, yeah.
And I believe for a lot of people who consume it, it won't really change much about it. They'll see it on social media. They'll see clips of it. But maybe it's just more easily shareable than taking it off of traditional media. I think it does kind of take away some of the, exclusivity of it all, but we've already been moving towards that like so fast with all of the PR tours, the stuff that works the best for promoting a movie is always, you're on a medieval set or you eat a bunch of hot wings, you go on a chicken chop date, you talk about your last meal, all of that sort of stuff has like it becomes about something different than the movie itself. And I think the Oscars have to be careful because they've always been going into more and more of that direction of like, this is a collection of celebrities, it's the exclusivity, no one actually watches these movies. And I was like, fuck off, man, that's not what this is supposed to be about if it wants to be sustainable for the industry. So it has to be a celebration of that. And I think something like the Game Awards isn't really doing it that wrong, where they focus on upcoming films, when they do a bunch of promotional stuff to keep people excited about what's coming up as well. Because I don't know how much people care about what wins or not. Obviously, people do care, and they do have a lot of opinions about it. But I feel like something is still kind of lacking for it to be in the cultural zeitgeist as much as it used to be.
I mean, my biggest question is how long will the speech be on YouTube?
Yeah. Will they still cut it off? Will they still leave you going for a while? Isn't that like the one at Game Awards that went for like over 10 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, for the God of War actor. And then like a few years later, he came back and he's like, don't trust me, guys, I'll keep it short this time.
Yeah.
And like he acknowledged it, yeah. But that's everything about the Oscars done. And let's talk about a less fun topic, which is the passing of Rob Reiner, who unfortunately, apparently, got murdered alongside his wife by their son. I don't know. I don't remember when the news exactly dropped. I think it was Monday.
Yeah, it was the 15th. Yeah.
Yeah, the 15th. And I woke up with that news, and it's like, it was brutal. And then a few years, again, it was the same thing with this Warner Bros. Thing. Like, it was like an hourly thing. And then, like, you hear, oh, Rob Reiner has passed away. It's like, oh, shucks. He has been murdered alongside his wife. Oh, shucks. Then it's like, by the son. oh shit, did he actually do it? And then you hear the moment they booked him, it's like, oh my god. And they have been found by their daughter. Oh my god. It kept getting worse and worse, which is such an unfortunate thing because Rob Reiner, I've seen a documentary he made about Albert Brooks with him. You've watched that one as well. And when they are talking opposite each other, like you can hear the warmth and the friendship of those two people. So I was also thinking a lot about Albert Brooks when hearing the news about him. Like, I don't want to say that a joke. Like, I did see a lot of people, saying like, oh man, he was such good, but no one says like prayers to his family. How whenever someone passes away, like thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Actually, nobody's mentioned that, and it's like that's such an absurd situation to be in. But I did watch Princess Bride for the first time, in his honor, and it is a great film. But in my viewing experience, I was just constantly like, wow! I realized how so many movies have referenced to Princess Bride, and I've seen quite a few of his movies. Naturally, I have seen When Harry Met Sally. I have seen A Few Good Men. I haven't seen Stand By Me or Misery, but I have also seen The Bucket List, Albert Brooks, Defending My Life, and a little movie called The Magic of Belle Isle, which was on TV when I was little, with Morgan Freeman. But that's everything I watched about him.
Yeah.
Ewan, what do you think about the news?
I mean, you can't really do it justice by talking about it, and it also feels in a way definitely wrong to speculate and dramatize it in a way that you naturally, unfortunately, news always does. But it's just a horrible thing. Apparently, like, his son also has been battling with a disorder or mental illness, so that like this has been a thing that's been going on a lot, and it's just very unfortunate that it escalated to something so tragic. And it's been still kind of a warm feeling to hear from so many people in the industry say so many good things about him, just a director with such a great lineup of movies. Like at one point, right? People have been talking about the generational run he had, and since then he's just been a great presence around. So what you did, and I think what many others did, just watching his films in his honor and bringing that joy into their lives by the sort of movies he makes that are timeless, that you can watch and still take a lot away from. That is something truly special. I didn't have a time to watch the whole film, but I watched a bit of Stand By Me, and it's just that movie is also like so great. And I don't know what else we got to say. It's just a horrible thing. And it's just really sad.
I just hope the whole case, because I imagine there will be a court trial and all that. I do hope. Oh, I must mention, there was a certain dickhead out there that felt the need to say something about him, and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah,
I'm not mentioning him either, but I just wanted to say, fuck that guy.
Well, I got a message to him: eat shit and die. Thank you. That's about all I got to say to that person.
All right, let's talk about, some quick trailer things. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to see the Odyssey Prolog, but funnily enough, I've gone to the first screening of Avatar: Fire and Ash in IMAX in Brussels. There was no
true
Odyssey
IMAX.
Prolog. True IMAX. And there was no Odyssey Prolog. You had the trailer of the Prolog, of the Odyssey that they've been playing for months, but they didn't have the Prolog. And just a few days ago, like I think yesterday, I read a review. Oh my god, the Prolog was so good. It's like,
I know.
You gotta be shitting me.
Mm-hmm.
I was so early. They didn't even put it in yet. It's like, come on, man.
Uh-huh.
But hey, at least I saw the Steve Rogers, getting on his his motorcycle with the baby, and he will return in Avengers Doomsday. At least I saw that.
What's it? Okay, I've been hearing a lot of like that. Like, I guess you didn't see the Odyssey Prolog, but excitement for that, and then very muted response to the Steve Rogers one. Like, wow, how was the vibe like?
Honestly, it wasn't muted. The thing about it was just that it leaked, And then you had the memes of Kevin Feige shooting everybody down at headquarters because it leaked.
Yeah, I mean, they already announce when they'll do like the trailers for RDJ and then for
and you know, I guess
for
Avengers
Chris Hemsworth.
Doomsday spoilers if you don't want to know what they already leaked. But the thing is that they've put out 3 trailers. One focusing on Steve Rogers, hey, he will return. One focusing on Thor, hey, he will return. One focusing on Doomsday, like Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, and then there will be a actual trailer for Avengers Doomsday with, I guess, everybody else. But
how long will that trailer be? Like longer than certain movies, or because there's so many people in that movie.
Like the outrage that is out there, I guess, with these Avengers Doomsday is like, really? You have, you know, your original X-Men, you have your Fantastic Four, you have your new Avengers, aka the Thunderbolt. You have all your other characters, you know, with Eternals, Shang-Chi, and everybody you brought in your phase 4, 5, 6. I don't even know which one we're in at the moment. And you're going back to the Donnie that haven't showed up in, like, not even a decade, just a few years.
It is crazy that this year we had a new Captain America movie, and then next year is it coming out in 2027? It's
coming out in 2026, in like the same week as Dune. But I don't know whether one or the other will move
in 2026 still at the end of the year.
Yeah, Avengers Doomsday will come out in a year.
That's crazy. I know. I didn't pay attention to it at all, but. Like a year later, you're already kind of walking back on like, this is a new Captain America. It's, I guess, not such a brave world after all. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, and it's just, and of course, I will be there day one because, you know, the name of the Avengers still has some weight to it.
Yeah,
you know, it's still an event. I can't deny that.
I will definitely do still pretty well, especially with them returning. I think RDJ is enough. I don't know if you need Chris Evans and like the Chris's return as well.
The Chris's, yeah.
You got Chris Pratt as well, man. It's just like a circle jerk of Chris. The christening.
But you know what? Let's talk about an actual good trailer. I mean, I don't know if the Prolog is good, but that's not really a trailer. But how about Spielberg's next new film? Yeah. Disclosure Day. Disclosure. I don't know why. Just drop the day. Disclosure would like feel a bit of a punchier title, but again, Josh O'Connor, the sound design of the trailer was absolutely great with Emily Blunt clicking or whatever the hell she was doing. I don't buy that the whole entire world is watching the weather broadcast, but
I mean, if Emily Blunt's doing it, we might be watching.
But still.
But I mean, Josh O'Connor in a leading role in a Steven Spielberg movie. Ooh, yeah, count me in. Day one as well. I don't know what it is. I'm not the biggest fan of Emily Blunt. But I'm sure this will be great. I've said this a couple of times before.
But you may not be a big fan of her, but you can't deny that she has great performances in her body of work.
I don't know what it is, because I also I wouldn't dislike her as the public persona person at all. I don't know what it is. But is this familiar for Spielberg? You know, the sort of look, the feel, or do we have something exciting here? Because his last film was so personal.
Well, I think it's something exciting. Because we have these older guys, Ridley Scott, Scorsese, all, you know, doing such different and grand movies, and I feel like this is Spielberg's next, like, he's in that row of, you know, next big movies. He has done a few others, you know, West Side Story, Bridge of Spies, which are all very solid movies, but this really feels like a spectacle again. Of Spielberg, like blockbuster Spielberg is returning to the cinema. You know, the theater. Yeah,
I know. It's just something about it. Just looks like the look of the movie. I'm not blown away by because it doesn't look exciting.
I'm not judging looks based on the trailer anymore, unless it's like really bad, because then the whole fucking internet will be aflame. But I don't really. Yeah, I want to see it on the big screen. I'm judging it till it's on the big screen.
Yeah, that's fair, but. I mean, I'll be seated day one once again for a Spielberg movie, of course. Lastly, I think it's just been crazy, the sort of promotion for Marty Supreme. And what Timothée Chalamet and like the things about that he's just so set on winning the Oscar, and like the reactions to that, and like everyone's talking about it. It's kind of working. I don't know if it will actually work, because it's like Marty Supreme out in theaters Christmas Day in the States, and we'll see how well it does.
Oh, and he went on Graham Norton, and there is like, oh, Marty Supreme Boxing Day, because it's the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
So he's really selling it. And have you also seen that he went to like the actual screenings in America, and he's like, I've got 198 appearances in the next 48 hours or something along the lines like that. Like really going to every screening from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to
That's
like
crazy.
It's crazy.
He's campaigning.
He's putting
like
in the
crazy.
work, and it kind of reminds me of the whole Deadpool marketing, because like the marketing of Deadpool was like on an entire another level. Like this feels on an entire another level as well.
Yeah, it's like what he's been saying. He's channeling the character Marty Supreme, who is, you haven't seen the movie yet, but he's just blindly going after it. And he's all in. There's no way he's not achieving what he sets out to do. And it feels a bit like he's performing that character in the promotional tour as well. I don't know how much of that is him personally, because once again, we do not know these people. So I feel like I'm along for the ride. I feel like it's mad entertaining. And I don't really care either way if he just really wants an Oscar or not. It's just, it's entertaining, man.
I don't think anything tops his marketing video call though. Like I enjoyed that video so much.
Yeah.
But what's the last news items?
Well, former U.S. President Barack Obama dropped his annual list of favorite stuff, and among them, he talked about his 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 favorite movies of the year. I really didn't talk about them. He just listed them. And I think like, there's always a speculation of like, has he actually read this stuff? Has he actually watched it? I honestly, I don't doubt that he's like, he's a man. He's a person. He goes to watch stuff. He'll probably get it like a private screening room to go see this stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to seek out all of these films, especially because he's involved like with the documentary filmmaking and all that. But Kevin, what movies are on the list here?
One Battle After Another, Sinners, It Was Just an Accident, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, No Other Choice, The Secret Agent, Train Dreams, Shay Kelly, Good Fortune, and Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. You know what the funniest thing to me was? Like, the first thing I saw, I didn't even see the list. I saw someone reacting to it, and it was like a list of like how accurate Obama has been with Best Picture predictions. Like,
that's what we need. It's probably a Polymarket prediction thing of how close Obama's list is with. Like, if that doesn't exist, it probably will exist at some point.
Imagine there's an entire betting thing with which movies will be on his list.
It probably is. Dude, there's a fucking we are in a betting world, and we'll all blow our brains out because we'll be in fucking debt sooner than later. It's depressing as fuck, but at least Obama picked some good movies, right?
He did.
Yeah,
he did. Mm-hmm. I don't really have much else to say to that.
Yeah, I mean,
the man has
and he's also picked a bunch of them that will get Oscar nominated. Oh, obviously,
actually,
Best Picture.
You know what? No. There's one sort stand out.
That is Good Fortune.
Yeah,
it's not a great movie. It's a decent movie.
Wait, I'm just asking. Was it produced by his company, his production company? You know how that oftentimes could be on the list.
I feel like he only does documentaries. Let's check real quick. He might have been involved with 2 + 2 = 5.
Well, roll the intro again while Ewan does his research.
It's not. We need an intermediary thing of like elevator music, I guess. And his production company, Higher Ground Production, American Factory, Becoming, Descendant, American Symphony, and they haven't made something since 2023. No involvement in Orwell. At least not his production company.
Imagine we're just blaming Obama for bias.
No, he's actually involved in all of the movies on this list. He did them all. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go as a reference point of like, you know, he has a ton of followers from his presidency, and they just see a list of films that I think all of them are worth checking out. Even Good Fortune, they'll have a good time. The rest of this stuff, like, dude, I don't know. Hamnet is it's a pretty sad watch. I was about to say like all of his movies are sad. They're not really, but like they're definitely heady movies. There's some long movies on here with Secret Agent and One Battle After Another, but some good stuff. Let's get to our main review of the week. About an hour into the podcast, a little bit less than an hour into, with the 3-hour-long epic, the third movie in the franchise from James Cameron, Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Well, we're gonna stretch out this review so this episode is the same length as Fire and Ash, and then we upload it to YouTube, and people think it's a movie, right? That's our aim.
Oh God,
Are we on the same page?
We are on the same page on YouTube, yes, where this will be released. I don't know if I'll have 3 hours in me to do this recording, but maybe we'll just play the intro
again. Great.
So it matches.
This is gonna be the reoccurring bit.
Exactly.
Well, what's it about? What's Avatar: Fire and Ash about?
In the wake of the devastating war against the RDA and the loss of their eldest son, Jake Sully and Neytiri face a new threat on Pandora, the Ash people, a violent and power-hungry Na'vi tribe led by the ruthless Varang. Jake's family must fight for their survival and the future of Pandora in a conflict that pushes them to their emotional and physical limits. Kevin, we haven't really talked about this film yet. I've seen it like 3 weeks ago now, and you just saw it recently.
Do you still remember it?
It's 3 hours long. There's some blue people in it, and there's also some people who have fire. And I remember the fire lady being really hot. What else is there? What?
Right, good.
What?
Good to know what you're into.
Into hot people, into hot, tall, powerful women. Yes, sign me up. No, but what did you think of Avatar: Fire and Ash?
So I went Wednesday again to the first screening of she's drinking urine. Great.
That's what you gotta do if you watch a 3-hour-long movie. Gotta make do.
But I watched Avatar: Fire and Ash Wednesday first screening at noon, and I heard a little rumblings about not so great reviews, but I didn't really look at them yet because I wanted to go in fresh, open-minded, and at times Fire and Ash feels like a macro version of Way of Water, and the parts where it doesn't, they range from solid to great. But the overlap of certain like a copied version of the second mostly occurs in its third all out in its third act all out battle, because it's really just a grander version of the last fight.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I've sent you a bunch of memes of the things that I've been seeing. So many. We'll probably just show them on the screen. But again, the best addition of Fire and Ash are the fire people, Varang specifically. And, the relationships in this movie are the most interesting yet, I dare even say, of the franchise, because we got this relationship between Jake and Neytiri, how they both grieve about, their son that they lost in the second movie. You got Quaritch and Varang, which, again, the memes have been insane. I sent you them. They're so fucking funny. But yeah, you got the addition of the fire people. You also have the addition of the wind traders, but we don't really see much of them. Like, they're very much there to transport the Sullys, and then something happens, and then they're totally out of the picture for the rest. They don't even really reappear in the third act, where everybody is gathering around each other. Like, we don't even see them there, which I thought was an odd thing.
I mean, they're basically like the trading people, right? So they wouldn't be involved in the conflict at all, even though last act is definitely like about uniting some certain things, but we'll get into spoilers soon. But we'll get into spoilers soon.
But let me talk about the theater experience, because I watched. This is actually the first Avatar movie I have watched in the theaters since the first. I didn't watch the second one on a theater. I just watched it on 4K at home. There's this little thing called high frame rate, and it was an adjustment. Now, I did go with a friend of mine, and no, I'll admit I'm a bit frustrated because the friend, he does have motion smoothing on his television and he actually prefers it that way. And Ewan is exactly feeling what I'm feeling, and he actually prefers to watch his movies and his series with like interpolation and like higher frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, he loved the whole thing. For me, the high frame rate really only worked underwater because in movies, I'll admit, whenever something is underwater, sometimes it can look a little bit iffy. I'll admit that. And for me, underwater, to have the high frame rate and because it flows a bit more smoothly, like that, then it works.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't, and the reason it doesn't is whenever they switch. There's never like a scene where it's only in a certain frame rate or it's in high frame rate. Sometimes they could switch just in between. And I think James Cameron said, I'm really only doing the high frame rate when underwater, which in that case, it totally worked for me.
I believe.
And with a lot of movement
Yeah.
and evolving certain panning. And when it's a creature or a certain individual is entering the frame, that's when he did the high frame rate. But you also watch it in high frame rate. Right?
Yeah, I watched it in IMAX, but not in true IMAX because there's no IMAX screen here. I feel like the one in Brussels and there's one in London, I believe, but there's not really that many in Europe.
Yeah, like a 1.9, like some IMAXs are 1.85.
I had a good reclining seat and like really nice seat that I was like in there. That was comfortable, but not the true IMAX experience. Still great. Also watched it we both watched it in 3D as well, right?
Yeah. That was a trip. I haven't watched a 3D film in ages.
I didn't really like that either too much, but I'm just a hater for the technology. I know James Cameron is really set on sort of I don't know. We'll get into that a bit more because he's been talking about like basically the same couple of his talking points have been kind of repeated in every appearance that he's had. It's just I in my notes, which were plentiful for the 3-hour plus runtime of this movie.
I think you used one notebook for this movie, right? One entire notebook.
I finished it. I don't have any space left, and the one that I took to Venice, right, the one is right there in the back. But I don't know if I need my notes for the movie specifically. I feel like it's still quite present. But I noted down when I noticed like a high frame rate changes in like the first 30 or maybe 40 minutes, and then I was like, I can't deal with this, man. He does it all, like it's so frequent. And to me it stood out every time, and that's maybe, as I can't help but say, as someone who's a cinematic technician, like doing all of that for 2 theaters and looking at every film to present them and how to prepare them for screenings. I just had another technician at our theater yesterday, and I was telling him a bunch of stuff of what I noticed, which isn't perfect, and he was like, "You're the only one who notices that." And I feel like that is sort of bleeding sometimes into my watching experience as well, especially at theaters. When like one of them, the one that used to not be an IMAX one until like this year, it had like a couple of red dot like dead pixels. And every time, every movie, I was like, there they are again. And I can see it every time. And no one else notices. And to me, the high frame rate stuff is just not really adding a lot to it. And I think the whole mentality of this performance capture, you don't shoot close-ups, you capture the performance, and then you get to choose the whole scene afterwards. It's just not really my vibe. Because I don't think that the character arcs that go with it, that like James Cameron is talking about, that it added so much capability of capturing the truth of the performance and then getting to choose how to shoot it afterwards. I feel like it's not connecting because I honestly don't give a shit about any of these characters. Really nothing. Like that's why like something like a Quaritch and Varang getting it on. Like that's adding a bit of spice, a bit of excitement into the story because it's something new. But the whole redundant, I feel like this is not a spoiler really yet, of rehashing sort of a conflict that we've had for the last 3 movies. It's just not like there's no depth to these characters because they're self-described. I think I just watched a short clip of Sam Worthington saying that it's a mirrored way of like the conflict that they've had in 1 with now in 3, it's kind of flipped in their positions of like, don't go further into Pandora. That's sort of like what they're warning against. And then they're both dumb. And I agree. They're both dumb characters. And it's not really... And I feel like a lot of people have also been saying that. And I do agree that Neytiri is sort of the holding this franchise emotionally together, of having something there. And Zoe Saldana, I think, has been like great in this franchise for all 3 films. But I was just not emotionally involved. And if you take me along for what feels like a total 10-hour experience of movies, I guess it's like around 8 or 9 hours, it's just there's something lacking. Obviously not on the spectacle front, right? There's so much, but just to keep me emotionally engaged, it's just I tuned out quite a bit.
I'll disagree with you on the no depth. I think the moment, like there are moments when they are getting into it in terms of emotionally, like heavy scenes, and oftentimes they play it narratively safe instead of actually pushing, the boundaries as much as they are technologically wise. I think they sometimes should push the boundary a bit more story-wise. Because one of my favorite scenes is when they are at the Reef people, like halfway to the movie, I think, and Jake and Neytiri are talking about their ways of grieving and what to do with a certain individual. Like, should we let them go? What should we do? And they have different viewpoints about it. I think whenever there are debates like that, and then there is a scene later, I guess we'll talk about spoilers, where again they are having those conflicting viewpoints change from both sides, not just one individual person. That's when I'm like, yes, please give me more of this. And then they do a choice where it's like, oh, this is it. And I think, there is a certain point of we need to focus on this world building. Look how spectacular it is, that they oftentimes forget about, wait, can we push this where this character goes a bit further? And they never do. That's my only gripe with because I think, you mentioned Zoe Saldana. I think Sam Worthington in Way of Water is tremendously good. I think he's almost better than Zoe Saldana in the second one. And in this one, I didn't feel that at all, unfortunately. And I think he could have. I think he could have at a certain scene that we'll talk about in spoilers, but they don't. He doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I really struggle to also resonate with the second movie, which I feel like I'm definitely an outlier in, because I know a lot of people saying that this one is just not living up to the second one, and I think for a lot of people, it's their favorite of the 3 as well. And this one is their least favorite. I think that's sort of the sentiment that has been going around. But I feel like we're still, we are still in the opening weekend, and we'll sort of see what the reception is for general.
I mean, it's gonna make money. That's the only certain thing.
And like, I feel like the discussion around like if Avatar is culturally relevant, if like blah blah, that is just so fucking boring. It's the same thing that like, a movie is Oscar bait. Shut the fuck up. Watch a movie, enjoy it not. I don't give a flying fuck what you think about it otherwise. It doesn't, like, if it's a good movie that also caters to a certain audience, good riddance. Cool. That it gets nominated, it gets campaigned for. There's so much around it that like you don't need to talk about that substance of the film. And I think in a similar way, you could talk about Avatar Fire and Ash and say, well, it is a movie, doesn't really care that much about the awards. It still, I guess, gets the nominations for the second one. I feel like in some ways, sometimes James Cameron justifies of like, when there is a critique to his filmmaking, it's like, look at the number I make. I made big number. Lots of people watched it. And I think that's not really.
I must say, I think that sentiment has changed, because he's truly been like on the edge of, I think I might be done with this franchise. I'm stepping back. So I think the sentiment has changed.
What I heard him say in another interview was that like, he said it's still a business after all. We'll see how well this does to have the return that it costs to make, and we'll see if we'll get to make more. And I think like he's taking maybe himself out of the equation of making the sequels, but he's very like that like money mentality. I mean, literally look back to Aliens,
I mean,
pitch there.
From what I read before, any of the actual numbers and prediction, like I I did feel a certain creative exhaustion coming from him.
I mean, this has been an 18-month production, right? It's been
and
back to
who
back.
knows
both
how many
movies.
years, like 20 years in the actual.
Oh yeah, he
like,
started work
Avatar.
on, because there was an interview that's on the DGA Directors Guild podcast where he talks to Del Toro, and they talk about like meeting and shortly after in 1994, he started working on Avatar, the first one. And if you remember when that came out, that was a while later. So, and then he's been working since the first Avatar on like these two films, right? They're kind of made back to back. So I feel like the expectation that maybe you take a leap of something larger than it was from the first one to the second one for the third doesn't really make sense, because you shot them back to back and they were supposedly could have been one huge movie. But I feel like in a lot of ways, the second one does feel, dare I make this comparison?
Do it.
With Wicked for Good, it does feel like it's a more disappointing second half of one larger story.
Because it is also like the third was a part of the second one, and then they divided up in two.
Yeah.
So I guess you're sort of hinting at that. And I guess I can see it in some way because, again, there are a lot of similar story beats. I'm not saying the entire thing is totally similar to Way of Water. I don't think that is true, especially
that's reductive.
It's like 3 hours and 19 minutes, I believe. So something over 3 hours. Not everything is gonna be the same.
I mean, it's easiest to say the repetitive stuff is still non-spoilers, because like the end battle is like that's one to one sort of a similar style. But the rest in between, it has some different ideas that it tries to explore. And I think for that we do have to talk about spoilers.
Let's talk into spoiler territory. Now,
Spider!
Spider. So the scene that I was hinting at where Jake Sully could have, been pushed further is when he takes Spider to the woods. And I think
I
if he actually offed Spider.
Yeah, I talked to my
off Spider.
Oh my god. I agree. It would have been way more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then also the fight, the stakes when he meets Quaritch again and Spider is dead. I mean, that's then there is no, well, this is awkward at the end.
Then it's less about you continue this fight for the person that you're not actually about, because this new version, this clone, has this connection that he wants to establish with his son, even though it's not like, he's still a clone. So that is like fabricated. But then there's this bond that he at least has the history of this one movie, this time frame now. And if you take that away, there's a huge but I feel like it would make Jake into too much of a villain in the eyes of like the like general audience. They couldn't differentiate between.
But Jake could also be interpreted as the villain, and I think that's the most interesting thing about this Avatar. And if he offed Spider, then you have this very conflicting feeling towards the all-out battle and the case of who comes out on top. And
then it's way more about like what's the cost of continuing fighting if you can prevent it, if it's just at the mercy of like two men who just want to fight it out and keep going at it over and over again. I mean, I feel like that's more interesting.
I sent you the meme of like the hey Quaritch, let's just meet up tomorrow.
Exactly.
Also, since we're talking about the third battle, because again, the Kulkun, like basically in Way of Water, it was Payakan, the one Payakan the whale, and now it's like everybody destroying all the ship, and that's like, whoa, really? Okay, but then we got that interesting tornado thing, Flux, and I think that was interesting. Also, the way that they are fighting, underwater, in the air, that's very interesting. But at a certain moment in that third battle, there's also a shot where it's very zoomed out and you're seeing all the mayhem happen, but it happens in high frame rate to the point that I do not know what I'm looking at sometimes.
Right.
Truly.
Yeah. I feel like I've hinted at that. Well, not I talked about it, I guess, earlier, was the sort of performance capture, having everything laid out to you, and the way that he's described it is like, I know he doesn't like the constraints of like you have to such a shot selection already. If you only get a close-up, then you shoot for coverage, so you get performances once or twice that you have to sort of match. No, you get it once, the best take, and you get to use that. And I feel like I don't know, man. Sometimes limitations get like for the better of the movie, where some like I don't know if just more choices are always better choices, and I feel like I'm also misinterpreting what he's trying to say there if I say that, because he is very much focused on getting the best performance out, but then I'm thinking about like the behind the scenes stuff that I've seen where it's just like they're shooting them and like these balls and there's no reference thing around them, and it's like that's the true acting that you're doing, and it's like the sort of conflicting thing of like a blockbuster like this where you're not acting with actual people, you're acting off of what you imagine it to be. And I feel like the same way to act differently if it's something in a close-up or if it's a wide, or if it's like you act differently. And it is, I don't know, the nuance just kind of is lost in a way, or at least it felt to me that way.
Now, I kind of want to talk about individual characters.
Yes.
So, Courage, we are already in spoiler territory. Courage isn't dead. And I hated that as well. We see him going
no,
down.
He's dead, man.
No, man, he's not.
What does he come back and like an ash person?
Ah, man, I don't.
It's like a horror movie. If you don't see the body and it's stabbed and shot 13 times, he comes
so
back.
Totally alive. And Kiri, again, Kiri is also like a character that oftentimes gets put in the background, but also instantly get put in the foreground. Again, it's weird to see.
It's weird to hear Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver coming out of that. Yeah,
it's so weird.
Especially at that sort of moment when they're next to each other.
Yeah,
there's a moment when they're next to each other, and you're like, I truly don't believe these. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's a good choice to have her speak this, because she sounds like a 60, 70-year-old woman. Not
I
like
get that you want to have a certain suspension of disbelief, but still do something in that audio to make it sound younger.
Because you have two kids and she's frequently with the younger kid as well, right? And them next to each other, you got the clear contrast and comparison, and it's very weird.
But again, Varang is an excellent addition. She's probably the most exciting addition to this thing. Also, one scene that I want to point out, at a certain moment, Quaritch and Jake are in that prison cell, because I just remembered it. And that's, again, a scene where I feel like they could have pushed some emotional boundaries. And it sort of stays narratively safe. It doesn't really excite me. When such a confrontation like that should be like, I do not know what happens next.
There's a lot of like ending to conflicts and moments where we just cut and they're like already way off. And I feel like, how did you escape? Like there's a bunch of cuts that like leave a lot of like left out, where I was like, you got 3 hours and 18 minutes, but you're cutting out some bits that feel pretty integral. And
but hey, the marine biologist, he doesn't like the fact that they. So
there's always one human character who's like, no, now it's too much for me. You need one every time. I feel like Varang as well is like exciting to look at, and is exciting. I'm loving the horniness of everything that has been going on online. Sure, have fun with that. I think it's exciting. But as a character, I feel like she's unfortunately also a bit one note in this, like not maybe as a character overall if you look at her and her experience and everything, but the role she plays in this movie is like villain, and you're just a villain. There's not like, you just want destruction, nothing else. She's like such a clear-cut villain, where like with Quaritch and Jake, that conflict, there's a few more layers to it that unfortunately, like we said, don't get explored and used as much as they could, because there's more there. And I feel like with Varang, it's like she's left out that way of like just being so one note that it would leave more space for Quaritch and Jake, but they just don't use it. So then it's just like, well, then let her fill it in, and it doesn't need her. And so it's like, so much untapped potential.
Talking about, not knowing what happens next, there is a scene when Quaritch goes to the Ash people, and you have his sidekick, who's a great sniper, by the way. My God, he was pulling off those shots like it was nothing. Drop him. But then you have like, okay, Varang is in the situation. It's like, you know what? Come inside. And then you have that sort of tension that I do not know what happens next. Then Quaritch, gets drugged essentially, and you're like, okay, what is this relationship gonna be? Great. those moments I needed more in other scenes. That tension, that unknowingness of what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
But I will say we've mostly, talked negative things. Let's talk about some positive things. Avatar, the $400 million movie. Every dollar is visible on that screen. It is a spectacle like no other. James Cameron, because we often talk about Park Chan-wook as being the most technically gifted filmmaker of this generation, and I still stand by that. But in terms of pushing technology and that thing forward, in the way he used that, because I saw a Corridor Crew video where they were visiting him, and where, funnily enough, one of them asked about the options that he has.
Yeah.
And you see him just saying like, "Oh yeah, hey yo, just render me this," and it's like bam, and it's in quite clear, great quality. And if you compare that to the renders that they had to do, and like a couple of years ago, let's just take Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park. It is mind-blowing to me how far we've come in this medium.
Yeah.
And again, it's also like how many people will actually be using this in the future, because it's so expensive.
But yeah, he was also
not
talking
many
about
people have experience with it. Yeah.
Exactly. He was also talking about like they generally have a bad they feel like motion capture, which isn't the same as performance capture. Finger wagging, very
motion
important.
and emotion. Yeah,
exactly. And
emotion.
And that he says that like a lot of people have preconceived feelings about it because 99% of actors haven't done it, if not more. Question is like, how much do you do it? I feel like from the capabilities of this, it does make sense that it gets used more. And I feel like the way that he goes about this, like there's probably a streamlined way of using it where it is less expensive. It is less like perfectionist and shooting for 18 months for 2-3 hour long movies. If it's like I feel like there's a lot of that technology that can be used in a very great way, but
can I drop Predator Badlands, something along those lines, perhaps?
Something that would work perfectly. I feel like for this sort of thing where the whole world is otherworldly, so you have the whole design of a world that you do around it. It's just that's so intense to prepare, and I don't know how much of like dropping it in pre-made worlds that they have. Like they obviously have a sort of place, and like to have that set and then be able to like go around in it and like place your characters in it. That is like similar to Unreal Engine and how much you can render in real time. Like that's been such a huge development for adjustments as well, because like usually the Corridor Crew always talks about that as well. It's like you render, you leave it overnight, and then you see you messed up something. It's like, fuck, the whole thing is like need to be redone. So these developments are like, I feel like they're always creative focused and creative forward. In the future, obviously this technology is not really that accessible. I feel like there's the potential for this to be more exciting. It's just I never connected with this universe much. Like to me, this franchise has stayed flat on like a 3 out of 5 for me the whole way through. And I know I'm a bit of an outlier on that. And I'm not just doing it to be pick me of like, oh, I feel like these movies are just kind of okay.
You and the contrarian guys.
I just didn't really connect with it, and I feel like there's the visual spectacle of it all doesn't really fly by me. But yeah, I was actually at Pandora's World in Orlando as well. I went to that like part of the
park.
But yeah.
And like, would you say that the visual spectacle is the only thing that's keeping you interested then in the franchise? If you say like it's a 3 out of 5, because like the movie has to garner something from you to still get a 3 out of 5. So I think it's
I feel like the action is like sometimes breathtaking, and I love some of the ideas it has. It just doesn't really go all the way. Like I like the sort of exploration of like a collective people that is tapped into like one being, and we haven't really talked about it yet, but like the way that Spider is basically resurrected and then can breathe without it, and then the whole like narrative of this story after that is then the humans taking that to recreate it, and ultimately the sacrifices that you have to make. It's like the one for the many. And I think those you can explore it on Pandora, on Earth, on if you look back in time, you probably could do a period piece on it, and you can look into the future. It's like something universal of like what is actually important to us, and then that being about the chosen family aspect of it all. I feel like there's a lot to explore here with depth. I don't know, something about these blue people, just like, to tell them apart. I'm sort of Pandorian racist, I guess. I'm one of the human people. I was like, I don't know. There's nothing distinctive about these characters that like really interest me about their plight and their stories. I just don't really care. And I feel like it's also because that's just James Cameron. It's very like army focus, and that just rubs. Bleh, I don't like it. I don't like army stuff. And he still kind of likes it in ways of actually as a spectacle on the screen. I don't know. Otherwise, like, I don't want to speculate on what he actually feels about the military, but like there's a couple of things that I just don't vibe with, and it just it like that part like stains it. But then you got beautiful digital landscapes that are fun to explore. The underwater scenes are a highlight. Obviously, they are great.
I'll finish my thoughts. So, indeed, there are a few story beats from the second one that are very similar to. There are a lot of beats in the third one that are very similar to the second one, and I will say I've said it in the past. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. And if this movie does that, it feels like a lesser version of it. Not all of it. There are some very exciting parts of it. I just wish they pushed those parts a bit further than they would. But overall, I did like Avatar: Fire and Ash. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
So still both good ratings from us. Also, this is a sort of movie that doesn't rely on any sort of shout outs or good ratings or anything. But it was just, by the way, there was more excitement for the second one, I guess.
I've got a question for you. How much is it gonna make? Because I said controversially this movie was gonna make 1.4 or 1.5 billion. I didn't think it would cost us 2 billion mark. So
I think so as well.
Like, that's still a hot take.
I don't think so. No, I feel like you're on the ball with that one. I feel like it's still going to make more, but it's also, I feel like since 2022, it's just an affordability thing as well. I feel like that's, even if there was an interest, I feel like people have less of an ability to go see it again.
Yeah.
I think that also plays into it. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes a difference, even like at that with the lackluster excitement of it on the critical side. I haven't really paid attention to the opening numbers. I saw some numbers flying around.
And I also should say there are a lot of movies coming out in the next few weeks. Because notoriously, one of the things that some people forget about the very first one is that the months after Avatar came out were very lackluster in terms of competition, and that's how it had that staying power.
Even the second one didn't have much competition.
Exactly. And I think this time,
we got more. Boxing Day.
Exactly, yeah. And then you got all the other movies that are also in Oscar contention. You even got some movies like Sam Raimi movies coming out in January, and many others. So I don't think it'll have that much staying power as the other two.
The Christmas weekend is always one that you have to split into two. You can't really tell from the first opening weekend if a movie's going to do well, because the whole of December usually plays a bit less, and then you got last 2 weeks of the year into New Year where you have a bit more of more legs for a movie that is a bit more traditional in how it used to be, where it doesn't make sense to have a movie only for 1 week, because some theaters even here, like even the ones that I manage, are closed for a few days over Christmas and New Year. I feel like that's probably not the case in the States, because they gotta make money, keep them open all the time. We also are closed on Sundays. Today we are recording on a Sunday, and this is one of the few Sundays in the year where some stores are open. Which I guess Pandora. I don't know if they got Sunday service.
By the way, the last thing I'm gonna mention is in the entire recording and our review, if you would have asked me what is Ewan gonna say, I would not have written down Pandorian racist.
I gotta call myself a predator, a racist at one point in these recordings. Okay, I gotta knock it off.
And you're calling yourself out on those. I'm not even calling you.
I know, but it was just something I noticed that like some of the side characters, I was like, okay, let's get a move on. I don't fucking care about Sigourney Weaver in a 70-year-old voice going like, I'm connected with.
Yeah, like, some parts were slow, indeed.
But yeah.
Wow, on the timing on that one. Jesus.
He's doing his best spider impression.
What do you mean?
Dying and then coming back.
God damn it. After all that talk, let's talk about some brief spotlights. Ewan, what are some brief spotlights? Movies that you've seen over the week that you just want to mention, put out there for the people to see?
In preparation for some of the like international Oscar shortlists being announced, I was like, let's just tackle a 3-hour-long Japanese movie that has been on my watch list since Gun. I missed it there. I did have a ticket for it. Like I was ready to go. I was like, fucking 3 hours? I can't fit that into my schedule. And I'm happy that I got around to it now. Kokuho is the movie I'm talking about. It's again like on the Oscar shortlist, a submission by Japan. It's like an epic story about like the story of traditional performance of kabuki, which is men dressing up as women for these sort of plays. And the reason why this exists is because it was forbidden for women to perform on stage. And to be like that intrinsically like is like, ugh, okay? That's the whole basis of just traditional thing is like it's exclusionary. It's excluding a whole like gender. And not really concerned with that at all. Typical Japanese style, I feel like they're not really ready to process the gender dynamics that much. Then it is about these two young men. One of them is the son of a kabuki actor, and the other one's the son of a Yakuza guy. They sort of then come up at the same time in this world of kabuki, and then this betrayal. There's like, you know, they evolve together, they evolve together, they grow together, but then they also, you know, there's a rise and fall for both of them. It sort of tries to be this epic tale that I feel like was a bit too predictable, too sort of familiar, and it didn't really grab me on an emotional level for them. I feel like the highlight is similar to like how Avatar and the spectacle of it all, like with the underwater scenes, all of that. When they are performing on stage, that's when I'm like the most fascinated and I'm like the most interested. But the rest of it all felt a bit lackluster. So I like it was the highest grossing local live action film in Japan, I believe that they've ever had. I think it made like 111 million like adjusted dollars just in Japan alone. So it did super well. But I don't know, something about it. Like I gave it like a 6 out of 10. I was ready to really have this as a potential like late bloomer, as one of my favorites of the year, and unfortunately never really got up there. And then another movie I caught was the Argentinian submission for the Oscars, which is distributed by Prime and Amazon Prime, and they've been emailing everyone to go see it, to consider it, and I guess it paid off because it got over some other films that I honestly think are a bit better than this. It's still a solid story about a woman who is incarcerated for like a murder of her own child, even though she like infanticide, because she had a miscarriage, and then basically the doctors and the police go like hand in hand to like cuff her right then and there. It opens with like a one shot that is like 5 minutes long or something like that. Then is about the legal proceedings of sort of getting this structural injustice basically undone. And it's with like it's very typical, like we've seen this type of movies before where we have the lawyer and the accused and the sort of movement that forms around it, but here you also have like, yes, this is a true story where like they take a fake name for this person so she can actually do it with Belén. And I think it's like it's well done in parts, but I've just seen this story told a bunch of times, which is frustrating because like there's so many stories to be told in different countries about this, but to me there was nothing really that outstanding about it, that like I wouldn't consider it as one of the best like international features of the year. I also gave this a 3 out of 5. Again, it's
not even in the top 20, huh?
Definitely not in the top 20 of movies about infanticides, I guess. I don't know. And then I also watched the final film on the list, the Palestinian submissions to the Oscars, Palestine 36, which was definitely a bit better than the last two films I just talked about. This one is basically giving you the context of how much of an impact the UK had in like basically setting up the now Israeli nation in Palestine, and how much they were basically slowly and then all but once taking over this country and taking it away from the others. And it's about like rebellion, the conflicts, the sort of like quiet resilience. Like there's a quote that unfortunately I don't have in front of me right now, but like it's something along the lines of like, I breathe and I resist. That's basically like there's a like one scene between a priest and his kid, and they're both like biting each other's fingers, like the priest making his son do that, and then he pulls away, and I was like, see, I only won because I endured longer. That's why I win.
Oh.
And I feel like that's like it's one of the things that we say, like if a movie represents sort of a larger film, or in this conflict, it's like it moved me to tears in that moment, because I was like, damn, that's a perfect representation of what this is. Like, you are hurting the whole time. It's just how long can you hold out, and that's sort of your win that you get. So I feel like for historical context, I think this movie is very valuable, and yeah, I'd recommend this one. As a movie itself, like I still gave it like a 7 out of 10. I feel like it's way more interesting in its history than its sort of presentation, but it's also got an overlying performance. Let me get the actor right, who's also in All That's Left of You. No, it's Saleh Bakri. He's in both All That's Left of You as the lead, and then also he's one of the rebellion fighters in this one, and that's also another by Jordan, the Oscar submitted film by theirs. It's by Sharon Dabies, who's mainly a actress, or no, I guess she's the director. I thought she was had more acting roles, but she's a Palestinian American, and yeah, submitted through Jordan. I think that movie is a tiny, I put that above Palestine 36, but there's a bunch of really great movies about Palestine this year.
Honestly, can I ask how it compares to The Voice of Indrajab?
It's completely different. It's really not about the same thing, because it's very much giving you the historical context of these people like trying to behave as if this is a normal thing that's happening in the country, like holding on to journalism and all that, and then like really realizing all at once, like, no, we are losing everything right now.
Because the reason I'm asking is, since I've seen more and more, some negative reactions to The Voice of Indrajab, and they are like criticizing the fact, like, oh, this reenactment is really not helping much. So would Palestine 36 be more for those people instead of Voice of Indrajab?
It's kind of, the UK is, I feel like, a bit reduced to the like obviously to the real life aggressors in this, but some of the characters in there have a little less subtlety, and but maybe that was more in real life as well. It's sort of the disregard that they have to just kind of brute force it through. I don't know. I feel like these both of these films, Indrajab and this, and All That's Left of You, which is one that like spans over decades, are like they all work in conjunction with each other to give you a fictionalized, dramatized, and in the case of the Indrajab, really just like slightly dramatized recounts of the plight of Palestine as a whole. So it's really like the whole thing is like paints a whole picture of the country. I feel like it's they really work well together.
Right. Do you have one more?
Yeah, finally, Craig Brewer with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson have made a late incoming musical movie. It's a music movie. It's not a musical because they don't break out into song. They are just really performers. They are basically a Neil Diamond tribute band. It's Hugh Jackman is just like, he has a charm about himself, a sort of presentation that it's also sort of hard at times, unless it's prisoners, to connect with him if he has an outward way about himself. And I feel like it's more The Greatest Showman than it is prisoners, and this movie, it has way more depth that it wants to talk about than like, you know, a sort of more lighthearted movie. It says two down on their luck musicians, and at one point they're fucking down on their luck like crazy, and I thought it was so like it's based on real people as well, and then you're like with the stuff that happens in this movie, you're like, how the fuck? And I was like, I guess it's based on something real. It just doesn't really make sense in a narrative because real life doesn't make sense. It's okay. It's fine. I like Neil Diamond as a musician, and the repeated bits about like them not wanting to perform Sweet Caroline because it's like there's actually such a like I don't know, there's better songs that he does. Like it's a really fine movie, not really much more than that.
All the boomers are gonna show up for this one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's a weird thing because it's only a tribute band as well, right? And so it's not actually about Neil Diamond, and yeah, I don't know.
But also, I feel like if you want to watch Hugh Jackman sing and dance, I presume.
Mm-hmm. Kate Hudson as well sings really great, and it's about like this sort of connective thing of like you do something with someone else and you can't do it without them because that's what makes it special, and it's about like sort of loyalty as well, loyalty in art and how that makes it actually something special and meaningful to you. There's also a pretty good teenage performance because they both have daughters that are around the same age.
Are you going to praise a young person's performance? Oh,
yeah,
shit.
She's actually really good in it. Actually, let me get her name so I can shout her out. Ella Anderson has a lot to do in this, and she does really well.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, those are my brief spotlights.
Do you want to hear mine?
No. Yes.
Roll the outro.
And
no, I got two things, and then we'll talk about one minor thing before going on to Train Dreams. Now, a month ago almost, or a bit more even, I bought a game called Inazuma 11 Victory Road. And as a kid, I saw this anime series called Inazuma 11, and it was all on YouTube that I watched it. So it was kind of crazy that I watched that on YouTube when I was a kid. But I saw the game, and I also played the Nintendo games. Like there were 2 Nintendo games of Inazuma 11. I think 3 actually that I played. And I love them. Like they were generally good, great. It's just nostalgia talking. It's like actually good. And I saw this new game, Victory Road, and I'm like, oh, okay, wait, they made another, and it's like they had like 9 years of production on it. It's like, whoa, wait, they've been doing it that long, and the content in that game is stacked because while I've watched the original Inazuma 11 anime series, you also have like some spin-offs and some sequels, but I've never watched those. I'm gonna watch one, I think, because I'm really intrigued in that particular one. But the video game Victory Road has like 5,400 characters. That's how stacked, this universe is, I guess.
That's crazy.
And I went back to watch Inazuma 11 Season 3 because I remember that one as being the best one. And I watched the highlights, like episodes of that one. And it is so good. So anybody, wanting a good sports anime that's actually goated. Now, granted, it is sometimes for kids, but at some point the series goes so dark. They try to kill young kids because they're good at football. There's an alien invasion, Ewan, at some point. It's bonkers.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And then I watched a movie called Rewrite. Ewan sort of hates it. Like, wait, what did you say yesterday to me? What that I'm allergic to?
Allergic to films that have more than 1K logs on Letterboxd.
I do, because when we talk about searching smaller movies that we want to spotlight, we do mostly. Sometimes I go much deeper than that, and Ewan hates what I do because that means
who
we
can
sort
watch
of
it. It's about accessibility.
Exactly, because accessibility. I know. But I watched this movie I was very intrigued in called Rewrite, and the reason why I was so intrigued in it, because I saw one other person that I follow logged in and gave it a 4.5, and it's like, oh, okay, wait, what is this movie? Then I saw the movie was written by Makoto Ueda, who has done Beyond to Infinite Minutes, River, which you also watched. You also done movie Night is Short, Walk On Girl. I either done Summer Time Machine Blues, which I have yet to watch, but I do own the Chameleon Blu-ray to it. And I'm like, ooh. And I've honestly been holding off on watching Rewrite, but we are in the movie catch-up, and I was like, I gotta watch it. I turn it on, and it starts out with a very interesting premise, and that is, a girl, she's going outside the classroom for a bit, and all of a sudden there's a guy that teleports next to her, like there's wind blowing. It's like, huh? And it's like, oh wait, I guess you can't like pretend you did not see that, right? And she's like, not really. Are you from the future? And from that point on, she has like this really charming 20 days of summer with him. They go affectionate of each other, and the reason that he's there is because he's from the year 2311, if I recall correctly, so like very far from the future. And he read this book there that talks about this period and this story of, how great, how relaxing and, beautiful this area is. And that's why he transported back to this school, etc. He says like, in the future, you kind of need, if you write this book, I can come back to this time period, so I can time travel to you. So it's sort of a loop, which the writer of this movie is infamous for. 10 years go by, and then she sits there with the book, and normally her younger self should show up, and she should say, because he only has 10 seconds with her, and then she says like, oh, hey, this is what happens. Here is the book that you need to write, so you make sure it happens. But the thing is, her younger self doesn't show up. And from that point on, the movie goes in a lot of different directions. And I was honestly swept away by it. The movie talks about authorship. And I thought it was such a great decision to make it about that. Obviously, she has to write this book, but does she have it in him? How do other people reflect on that period of time? And it's great. I don't want to say much about it. But what I will say, compared to the other movies, because you've seen Beyond to Infinite Minutes and River,
yeah,
I do think those movies oftentimes run quite out of steam very quickly because of the meta concept and etc. And this movie stretches that concept out towards the movie, because the movie is 2 hours and 7 minutes. I think without credits it's just a little bit more than 2 hours. And it stretches out that concept. So it isn't really a very repetitive thing very quickly. It stretches it out. And the dialogue is great. There's one line in particular that I love. And it's like, it's not about don't focus on the consistency, focus on the jam. And it's because she's stirring in some jam that she's making opposite her mother. And that line also encapsulates the movie perfectly. Really, really liked Rewind. I know a lot of people can't see it, but if you can find it, please do watch it. I loved it.
Yeah, so far it's only released, I think, over the summer in Japan. But it's
and in some festivals also.
Some festivals before that. I do have someone in my mutuals from Switzerland who's also seen it. I don't know how he saw it, but. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he went to Japan. I don't know during that time. And that's interesting. Like the movie is over 2 hours long. When Beyond the Infinite 2 minutes was like 70, and I think River was like 82. But that was like the same loop over and over again. And from what you tell me, it's like it's less a closed loop, but just more time travel loopish.
You'll know when you see it. I hope you do see it.
Honestly,
before
you sold me on it. I wasn't really actually, here we go again, Kevin. But you gave me more than enough, and hopefully some people listening to put this. I put it on my watch list now, and as you were talking about it, I didn't have it on my watch list before.
Well, because there's this sort of deja vu thing with each year that I watch an Asian movie just before I recap.
Yeah.
And I guess this movie is the one. I think this movie is the one.
That I hopefully make time for. We have like 2 more days to do our best of, and then we'll do it. And what we didn't do before is do an updated version of that. So we do have more time with stuff that we didn't get around to at the end of the year. and we'll
Because-
publish that towards the end of January.
Because
probably.
you've seen stuff that I haven't seen. I've seen stuff that you haven't seen. So that way we'll do an updated version. Also, probably just before the Oscars as well. Because they are in March. So
we
just
might
before.
do it then, yeah. Just so we got
Alright.
it all in there.
Well, then I've watched another movie. You haven't seen it, right?
No, I've seen Sisu Road to Revenge.
Oh, you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Oh, great. Well, you go. You pop off, sir. I want to know your thoughts.
Well, it's crazy action, and I think you're funny. I'm taking it away from you, but you did that last week to me as well. It was like you watched 2 Stephen Lang movies today, and this was the better one of the 2, and you watched so much Avatar.
But I will say Stephen Lang in Fire and Ash is more entertaining. But
Yeah.
He does a better performance in Fire and Ash, but in terms of the movie, I must say I like this one a bit more than Fire and
It's
Ash.
just pure. This is what that one studio that does like Sharknado and everything, like the parody stuff. This is how they should be making stuff, because it clearly does not give a flying fuck about anything. So like this, like the Sisu character is a Finnish guy who's like shortly after World War II, he's basically mowing through Nazis. So you give us like easy people to root against, to just like mow through and kill, that we don't feel sympathy for. He's a sort of symbol of resistance that like cannot be killed, even though he's like beat to the pulp. Compared to the first one, which I feel like got compared in some ways to maybe a sort of Nordic version of Mad Max, of like them just like on in cars mainly.
Yeah.
This one is also still doing that. It also goes on to train tracks at one point, but it just like escalates it further. And that's all this movie is. It's an escalation of the first one, with way more ridiculous moments in a way. And it also, I feel like, without spoiling it for people who still want to see it, I feel like it also neatly ends this character's arc in a way that felt like, at least to me, I feel like it sort of worked. The way that it ended it on like this character, of what he endured and what he represents, maybe as sort of a cathartic, like lashing out for the Finnish people of that time, going up like the Russians and the Nazi regime and all of that there. I was entertained. It's silly fun, but I had a good time with it.
I do think the second one is better than the first, and I'll tell you why. Because we do mention it every time. I'll say it again. This action movie had a little emotional element going to it, and there isn't much to this character, because the reason, again, this movie starts off post World War II. The reason that there is this emotional thing is because Russia has gained territory on Finland. So all the Finnish people that live in that territory, they have to go back to Finland, and he has a house in this territory, and that's why he's returning to it, to literally break off every single plank. Can I just say how crazy that is to do? I'm going back. I'm going to grab every single plank, every single thing that's in that house, and I'm going to move it back. Like, that concept is crazy. But the reason why it does so is because that's the only thing he has left, the only memories, happy memories he essentially has. But this Finnish guy also killed, 300 Russian soldiers. So obviously they're holding like a tiny little grudge against this guy. And then we enter this Mad Max Furiosa type movie, because he has this truck with all his planks on it and he's getting chased. That's why I prefer this one, because there's a little bit of an emotional element going, as well as crazy action. Some of the kills in this movie, my god, I do love the fact that Stephen Lang is just not fazed by it. It's like, stay still, and then you got the guy moving next to him, like moving. It's like, gets shot through the head. It's like, god damn it.
Yeah, it's a sort of, they both feel sort of like, even Steve Lang feels like he's behaving like he's an immortal being in a way. I don't know. It's also interesting in the presentation of like these chapters. I honestly think the movie doesn't take itself like seriously at all. Like at least not too seriously.
It does on some level, because if you don't take yourself seriously as a movie, you don't work.
But I mean, like, it's not
Like,
it's not like in moment to
it's
moment.
not a straight up. Yeah, I get what you
There's
mean.
no connection between the antagonist and protagonist that is deeper than they just want to kill each other.
Yeah, and they're both and they both have a certain stoic characteristic to themselves, and they're reflecting on that. Also,
there's a moment with a
the
tank that I
train-
think is so fucking funny. It's like it's so over the top, literally.
He doesn't actually need to do it. He
No,
could use the
it's
tank itself, but it's so good.
I know, it's like-
it felt like a battlefield moment, honestly.
Yeah. And he's not like a character who's just he's better at, like, he's not the John Wick type who's just better at
No.
combat at everything. He's just brute forcing it.
He's just smarter, crazier,
Yeah.
bonkers.
And that's just entertaining to watch if you just want.
And there are some great sequences in it, and you can talk about the actual truck chase, but you can also talk about the more quiet and suspenseful moments of this movie that happens on a train where he has to silently move through.
The barracks of like people sleeping.
I gotta talk about this one kill, so like skip ahead 30 seconds if you can, but there's a certain moment where somebody does notice him and he pulls up the bed and just stabs him through it.
Oh yeah,
And it's supposed to be silent.
He does it so much.
But it shouldn't be. It's so funny.
So he stabs him like 20 times in like 3 seconds. What it feels like he's like going crazy at it.
Yeah. But Sisu Road to Revenge, if you need some bloody gore during the happy Christmas festive spirit, I guess, you can watch Sisu. It's on VOD.
Yeah, I also watched
So
that
check it
that remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and
Oh,
that's also like bloody sort of possessed killer thing.
but is
Watch
it good?
watch Sisu Road to Revenge. That's what I'm saying. If you want something bloody over Christmas, it doesn't. I guess he doesn't dress up like Santa Claus, but if we are being real, the Finnish people feel more like Santa Claus than the fucking Coca-Cola sponsored version of it all. The true bearded men who just mow down Nazis. That's the
Yeah,
Santa Claus
exactly.
I want delivered.
All right, Ewan, how about we wrap up this episode with, like, I had a dream, a train dreams. Now you
Train
can,
dreams.
yeah.
Yeah, it's flipped around, so I gotta flip my camera.
I love how you can see your fingerprints on it.
Well, time to burn them off, then. This is I guess adaptation of Dennis Johnson's a novel of the same name, starring Jel Edgerton, Clifton Collins Jr., Felicity Jones, William H. Macy in a really integral
Crazy.
role. By director Clint Bentley, whose film Jockey from 2021 we have not both seen. I thought that we've both seen that, but that was not your first year in Venice, I believe. This one is about the story of a logger who leads a life of quiet grace as he experiences love and loss during an era of monumental change in early 20th century America. And this whole movie is sort of a quiet meditation of life, of choices, of grief, and how you go about it. And does your life add up to something meaningful? And it's processing that through a character that isn't really outwardly processing any of it. He's just sort of living through, and we sort of skip through his life, not really knowing how much time has passed. And it leaves you with like an eerie feeling of like, do I feel sad for this person? Do I feel happy for him? Am I feeling his grief alongside him? And then it's just one of those movies, and I love when a movie does that. When I'm like, at the end of it all, I might have cried once or twice. I'm like, man, that's life, man. That's life. And
The human condition,
that's
man.
a human condition. You can't say that's human condition with your arms down. It's really hard. You gotta do, that's the human condition. And that's Train Dreams. It's I haven't finished the book, unfortunately, in time. It's a really short one. It's only like 120 pages long, so I will still read it. And
Wait,
how did you experience it?
how does it compare so far to the book? I'm actually very curious to that.
I've honestly gotten like not that far into it that I can really compare it that much. But I think it's just like sort of more describing. And honestly, I can't speak on it yet. Unfortunately, I did want to prepare it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You know what? I'll let you give something else. You said this year is a lot about letting go.
Yeah.
And I think this movie is sort of the opposite of that catharsis of this year's topic. It's a movie about solitude, essentially, and there is this sort of timelessness to it that it's inside Train Dreams. And I was thinking about it. This guy must have been born in like the 1880s or something along those lines, because he apparently
Working for the railroad in like
yeah,
1917, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's just so good. The simplicity. This movie just shows that you don't have to have much in terms of narrative, but if you bring it out with good performances, excellent cinematography, very good side characters, because William Hay Macy, my God, the few lines he has in this movie are absolutely heartbreaking, brutal, devastating. And yeah, I just love this movie. And I can't say much about it because this movie, you sort of had to experience and feel it, you know?
Yeah.
I can't tell you, hey, this is what happens. Like, no, experience it.
And yeah, I've seen some reactions to it that maybe aren't as warm for it. And I feel like it's like if you break it apart into clips of moments between them of what they say to each other, it might read as sort of this performative contemplation on life. What if you watch it, it really, to me at least, and to you as well, it doesn't feel like that, like at all.
No.
And like what I didn't mention, who, yeah, I guess she's also in the cast. I was wondering if she's like further down, if is this spoiler. But Carrie Condon is also in this film, but like a bit later into the film. I loved her moments in it. I loved the soft piano score this movie has running through it the whole time. The sort of indifference of a character that you get that's not on like an arc of a hero. He's not on an arc to like basically maybe in some points he doesn't react to a lot of things and maybe that haunts him, or we don't get much of the interior life of this person, right? It's just like sort of you watch him live his life. You maybe place judgment onto it of like why doesn't do more of it? Why is he stunted? Is this sort of life by a lot of like that hundreds of thousands of people maybe led that are in a way of like cinematically unremarkable, but it is the human experience. The like, you know, the sort of mundanity that we go through everyday life, that like here I guess he's also haunted by trauma. But I feel like it's also at one point in this film, I feel like it's not the trauma that defines him. It's just like, it's sort of his routine and the simplicity that he seeks. Like, I don't look onto this person as having led a tragic life. It's just tragedy that befell his life. And that's just like, that was one part of it. I feel like I have so many like contrasting, complex feeling about it that like each time I watch it, I take something different away from it, because it's so much about reflections of humanity that maybe you catch glimpses of, reminding you of yourself and or of other people, and the fragility of life, how unpredictable it is,
how quickly it flies by. Because I adored the moment where he got outside of his area where time for him stopped, and it is so interesting to me to see that reflection, to see that change in time outside of the world that he lives in, where you see him walking on the streets doing something else that I won't spoil, because again the ending is so great. And
the logging as well, just the work itself.
Logging as well
is so well shot, but it's also terrifying in ways. It's like basically
also the moment they talk about scarcity or like supply, they're talking about, you know, these trees are like, we could chop away for thousands of years, they say, and look at the state that we're in now, where we have to protect the environment. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's because all of those things, I guess, are taken away as well, which I feel like it doesn't really place a lot of, like, it's very much feels like it's not really weaving in a lot of like modernity in it. It's just like of its time. It's like it stays in that headspace, and it feels very, very authentic that way. Obviously, we have no way of proving that, but I'm not that old. But it's just a pretty moving film that is making a late search, and it might be one of the final few spots.
I love Joel Edgerton. I hate I hate the fact that he might not make the top 5. But when I do look at the top 5, you know, best actor performance, it's like, God damn it, he just might be out there, you know.
Yeah,
out of that top 5. I love it so much.
I agree. I can't think of a performance where he didn't add a lot to the film itself with his character.
Oh, one of my favorite movies is Warrior. and he's phenomenal in Warrior. But I just might prefer it. As an individual performances, and an individual performance, I do like it a bit more in Train Dreams. But as an ensemble, Warrior is still his best.
You haven't seen The Plague yet, and lots of people haven't because it's not out in theaters yet. But also his role in that film of sort of you view him and you see a tough exterior in a way, like he can play that very well. But in The Plague, he plays someone who's way more empathetic. He's like the teacher to the teenage boys at like the water polo thing or whatever they do, and this he just knocks you out with a lot of like. Obviously, he gets the sort of stuff to do that is impressive for an awards body voting member of like depicting that trauma on his face and all of these emotions. There's a whole range of it in this mad impressive movie that might not be everyone's speed. I feel like we haven't said that yet, but it's definitely like one that is a bit more contemplative, that you have to wind down with alongside the film. So don't make it a double feature with Sisu.
And Joel Edgerton is such a great actor. Don't forget, like, he was in the original cast for The Brutalist. Like, some people forget that. Like, he's that much in demand. Yeah. I mean, I also liked him. I know a lot of people didn't like the movie. I also liked him in Master Gardener, the Paul Schrader movie. I feel like he definitely brought a lot to that film. So yeah, I would be very happy if he gets a nod. And this movie also gets a few nods from the Oscars, but I feel like it's already in the spotlight enough, which is like further amplifying it. Yeah. Adored it. Will it make the best of 2025 list? Maybe. We'll see. But that's the next episode. Was that a good segue? It was a good segue. I thought we had one more review left to do, but no, all the logs are chopped down. All the movie reviews are done. It's just time to make your bed now. We can return home to our lovely wife and kid. I see flames. Well, I guess soon you'll get to hear our favorite movies of the year. I still am undecided of where we make the cutoff with how many movies we talk about. Because it can be last year, 5-hour long thing if we talk about everything. It's been great stuff. I know, but I like to do what I did every year for 2020. For 2020, I did 20 movies. For 2021, I did 21 movies. So for 2025, I'm going to do 25 movies regardless. I don't know what you're going to do. That was just unnecessary. And cut. Yeah, are you done? Roll the outro. And cut. Now. And cut. I'm sorry. I'm the director. Oh, fuck. You can't do that. You can't. There's a hierarchy on the set, and you can't just invite it and go, oh God, don't do that on my set ever again. Okay, sorry. No, it's fine. Goodbye. Do you want to finish now? I'm Scottish. I'm not British. Am I stopping the recording? I actually don't know if we're still doing it or not.